Good evening. My name is Heather Louise Finch, and I'm the Executive Director for Communication, Planning, and Engagement for Nash County Public Schools. I am beyond thrilled to see all of y'all this evening. You have no idea. I was actually on the phone with my mom earlier, about an hour ago, thinking, Mom, I don't know if anybody's going to come tonight. So y'all really have surprised me, and we really do appreciate you all coming out here because this lets us know that you all are interested and care about the future of your children, and you understand with the communication that we sent out that what happens now impacts them when they graduate from high school. So thank you so much. Tonight we have a wonderful panel. We have the executive director of CTE programs and CCP, Mr. Chad Thompson. And I'll let you all introduce yourselves and the team, and I'm gonna let them take it from here so we can go and continue to let people in the door. And thank you all who are watching this virtually as well. Thank you.
Well, good evening. I'm Dale Wells, and I do work-based learning in the Children's Centers for Nash County School.
Good evening, Damian Jeffers, and I am the Curriculum and Instructional Management Coordinator supporting our CTE programs.
And once again, I'm Chad Thompson, the Executive Director for Career and Technical Education. And so we are excited to see you here tonight. This is an excellent crowd, and it just thrills us to see you all here because we really want you to hear what we have to say tonight because we feel like it's so important. Because how many of you ever said, I am going to do this when I grow up, or I would want to do this when I grow up? Well, CTE supports all of that. We're looking at careers. We're helping students learn about careers and hopefully make good decisions as they move through school. So that's what we're going to be doing tonight. So real quickly, and I'll start off, this was interesting because this really isn't even a piece of our presentation, but this is actually two of our teachers and some of our students in some practical pieces of career and technical education. So on the left side there, where you see them standing up, that's called advanced manufacturing. And they're learning about advanced manufacturing, and they're working on machines just like they do in advanced manufacturing. And so that's our teacher at Northern Nash, and he's teaching his students there. And then on the right side are actually our health science students who got to go to the hospital and learn about all of the different pieces of of an operating room and the actual equipment they utilize in those rooms. So that's exciting for our kids and our students in our schools. So tonight we're going to be talking a lot about careers, the career and technical education piece, and our career and college promise, which deals with Nash Community College. Of course, is our local community college here in the district. So I wanted to start out tonight. This is our complete staff, our CTE staff. This is our middle school staff. This is our high school staff. Our CDCs, which are our career development coordinators, there and there. So this is a staff photo. So we wanted you to get an idea of our group and our staff. So we have a mission and a vision in career and technical education. And so what our vision is, what we want to see in the future, is to provide students a quality career pathway and opportunities that lead to global prepared citizens. And then how do we get there? We're going to equip our students with skills to invest in their future. And we feel like we revisit this vision and mission every year because we say, are we still about that? Is this something that we really are doing in career and technical education? And hopefully every year so far we have in the last couple of years been able to answer, yes, this is where we still want to head because we feel like that we can prepare our students to be global citizens. Career and technical education is for all students. All students. Notice I have some check marks there, right? Or some check boxes. It's for students if they're going, once they finish high school, they're going to the workforce. It's for students that want to go to a 2-year college, a 4-year college, or the military. because we have something to offer all students. As you'll hear in just a minute, we have something to offer all of our students, regardless if they want to be doctors, lawyers, work in advanced manufacturing, be a welder. We have all of those things that we can help our students with, and we're excited about that. This is what we call our career development continuum. And basically what this says is, this is what we do in CTE from elementary all the way to post-secondary. And post-secondary, of course, meaning after high school. So in elementary, we are trying to really expose. Notice those E words. We use the E just to make it consistent throughout our continuum. So we're going to expose in elementary careers, opportunities. Then in middle school, we're going to explore. We have invested heavily in middle school with modules and hands-on activities where students can practice types of careers. So we want them to explore as much as they can from 6th to 8th grade. And then when they get into high school, we want them to really engage in a pathway that they're interested in. It doesn't matter what they're interested in. We want them to engage and be excited about the pathway they're on. And then hopefully that's going to help them expand in the end, when whatever they do post-secondary, whether they go to college or whether they go straight into the workforce or military. So this is an extension of that continuum, and this just gives you some things that we try to do. This is not all exclusive. I mean, this is just a few minor things that we try to hit on at each of the levels. And you can see in elementary, we're doing things from career days to touch a career event to field trips. Middle school, we're doing career fairs. We're going to try summer camps, college fairs. Then high school, we really get into work-based learning where students can go out and do internships. They can do pre-apprenticeships. They can also do a dual enrollment, which we'll talk a little bit about with CCP tonight. And then in our post-secondary, that's when they can really use what they have learned and earned in high school, because they earn credentials in many courses. Those credentials can help our students, and Mr. Jeffers will talk about credentials in a minute, but that can actually help our students earn more money, and it can also give them a competitive edge on someone that does not have those credentials. And so that's what we're all about when expanding. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Wells for programs.
And what I'm going to share with you tonight is about our pathways and our programs and the different courses we have. Now, the students that are in this room, their journey to a successful career looks very different than mine and yours, because they may go out, have a credential, do a work-based learning experience. They may find a job where that company says, I like you, we're going to pay for you to go to the community college. They may even pay for them to go to college. So they may end up with a great life, good living wage, and not pay a dime for it. Some of the trade and industry classes that we have provide great opportunities for them to come right out of high school and go to work and make a successful living. So we're going to share with you the things and how it works. So we have pathways, program areas, and then those program areas feed into our courses. This is a kind of example of how that looks. You'll see at the top, it shows that the program area is business, finance, and marketing education. It shows you where the cluster is. This particular pathway is entrepreneurship. Now, this encompasses everything that we are about in CTE. If you look on the left, those classes in green are what they're going to do in middle school. They come over to the high school. A lot of our courses offer a foundational prerequisite. So those 9th grade students, that's what we want them in. Not every course that we have has that. And that means they can go right into our prerequisite class. For this particular, this is entrepreneurship. they do entrepreneurship 1. You'll see highlighted in orange the concentrator option. That's important because that shows us that they have completed the pathway. When they get to that concentrator status, that shows them as a concentrator. But then look at our major pathway option. We have so many opportunities available. This is where our advanced studies are. This is where our internships are. We can do entrepreneurial experiences. We can do pre-apprentices. Most of the things that we do in Nash County are the internships. We do have some pre-apprentices that we're working hard with now, and then we can also offer advanced studies. But you can even see the things are just unbelievable, the opportunities that they have, because now it's just as important for them to say, this is not for me. I don't like blood. I don't want to be this. Let me get out of this before I go any further. So the next slide shows it to you a little bit closer. This is our culinary arts program. You'll see there's a foundational prerequisite. Then they go into the second course, which is culinary arts and hospitality 2. In this particular program, this is where they actually apply what they learn in the first one. In this pathway, our culinary kitchens have a health inspection. They have to actually run an entrepreneur health restaurant business and see all about those aspects of it. So it gives them real work experience. Then the third part, they can go back into the classroom to expand more on what they've learned in the foundational class. And then again, we have internships, apprentices, all kinds of opportunities that they can do when they get into junior and senior year. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that when we get to work-based learning. This right here, I don't want you to think that we only have 1 or 2. These are all of the opportunities that we have in Nash County. Now, we don't have every one of these in every school, but if you've got a student that's interested, we're going to do our best to help them get where they need to be to get the classes that they need. So you can just see, if you start at the top, we have electrical trades, we have firefighter, we have Adobe, we have entrepreneurship, we have animal science, equine, law and justice. This is most of what we have. There may be a few missing, but these are all of the opportunities that your students have. So if they don't want to be a firefighter when they grow up, they might learn they really do want to be a nurse. And that's what our courses are about, providing them the opportunities to learn what we have to share with them and what they like and don't like.
All right, so I am going to go a little bit deeper into some of our career pathways that are available in our high schools. So particularly on this screen here, we're going to highlight 3, first starting with automotive. So we offer automotive at actually each of our traditional high schools. So students at Southern and Nash Central participate through our CTE sponsored state course. And at Rocky Mount, they actually get the opportunity to participate through dual partnership with Nash Community College, right? And so these students learn about basic automotive skills, and they also lead to ASE Automotive Service Excellence credentials. Students who participate in automotive through the CCP dual enrollment actually also get to earn college credit while they're completing that program that they can transfer with them to Nash Community College. We intentionally chose the picture there to highlight Miss Erica. She's one of our former students because we want to talk about a little bit about non-traditional career pathways. So we have a focus on making sure that our students are aware of what non-traditional pathways are, and we try to do our very best to make sure that we promote it in a way so that females know that it is acceptable and okay to want to pursue careers in less desirable areas or careers that have been traditionally been set aside for males and vice versa. At the very bottom, you see there is culinary. So Ms. Wells spoke about our culinary arts programs. So right now we have culinary arts in 3 of our traditional high schools, so Rocky Mount, Nash Central, and Northern Nash. And so one of the big things that those students really get to do in there, as she alluded to, was run their enterprise, right? So they take the skills that they learn and they actually put to practice that basic food preparation and food safety skills that they have developed to actually make food and serve it to the school staff. So that is a very, very popular pathway that we have amongst our schools. You should also be aware that we have a pathway called food and nutrition. And sometimes our students get those two confused. And so just a point of clarity for you guys. So culinary prepares them to pursue careers as like professional chefs. So think about hospitality, think about your resorts, think about kitchens, commercial kitchens, and that sort of thing. Our food and nutrition pathway focuses more on the residential meal planning that takes place at home in the household. Okay, both of those are very popular programs and pathways available in our schools. And then we also have another popular pathway to highlight computer engineering. So you can see those students there. They are actually taking apart and working on the Chromebooks that our students use. So they learn about troubleshooting. They learn about different types of software. They learn about different types of hardware and how to keep those things functioning. At Northern Nash, we also actually have a tech help desk in which those students, once they have learned the skills and knowledge in their computer engineering classes, they work with Ms. Barnes and they actually have the opportunity to help service some of our student Chromebooks throughout the district. So very valuable experiences that they get to partake in as a result of being a CTE student. All right, so highlighting here 3 more of our different career pathways that we offer. So the very first one, you can see there's some students dressed in their fire turnout gear. So at each of our high schools, we have some level of public safety career pathway. So at Rocky Mount and Nash Central, we actually have public safety and fire technology. At Southern Nash, we actually have public safety and emergency management. And at Northern Nash, we actually have public safety and law and justice. So you can see the picture here. All of our students are able to actually apply the skills that they've learned through live demonstrations. So what they're doing here is practicing their ladder skills, right? So we have uniform for all of our students. They know exactly how to put the gear on correctly. Our instructors work with them very closely to make sure that they are gaining the techniques that they need to be effective firefighters should they happen to pursue that as a career opportunity. So you can go in either of our fire classrooms, whether that be Rocky Mount or Nash Central, and you can see all our bunker gear. Each one of our schools have an actual fire engine that they use to practice their skills with. So it's very unique programs that we have to offer as it relates to public safety. There in the middle is electrical trades. So those students get to learn a little bit about the theory of electrical trades. They learn about circuits and how those things work, and they also get the opportunity, again, to apply those skills in a hands-on live shop environment. So their classrooms are actually dually connected. So you have the classroom, and right behind it, you will see that they have the shop area where they go apply their skills as it relates to electrical trades. The last photo there is a picture of some of our students interacting with their heifers or animals at Southern Nash High School. So Southern is our powerhouse for agriculture. They actually have 5 different agriculture pathways going from veterinary assisting, thinking about animal science, equine, and sustainable agriculture. So we actually have a state-of-the-art barn facility there, and that is a very popular program amongst our community as well. So moving right along, that highlights some of our pathways. So now I want to get into talking about what it looks like from the middle school perspective. So in the middle school, as Mr. Thompson mentioned, we have invested heavily in our career exploration. So we use a platform called Paxton Patterson. And so each of our middle school classrooms have between 12 and 15 different career-related modules that students get to explore. So when you think about what that means, so ideally the students, they sit down, they watch some videos, they learn about the different career pathways, and immediately they get to apply what they have learned with a hands-on activity. So one of the best examples that I can give is even through our nursing module, students are able to take an actual pill and break that down to a liquid form for a patient who may not be able to swallow the pill, right? So they learn those valuable skills throughout those modules. And they rotate and learn a little bit about each of those career pathways. So once they get to high school, they've explored in middle school, and now they can be better aware of how to navigate towards a career pathway of their choice that we offer in the high schools. So those images that you see there just kind of highlight some of our middle school students in action in their Paxson Patterson Career Exploration modules. All right, so one of the things that we are most proud of is that our students actually have the opportunity to earn industry recognized credentials while they're still with us in high school. And so I want to put emphasis on industry recognized because I want to make sure that you are aware that many of the same credential opportunities that folks in the community, many employers require their employees to have, we actually offer through many of our career and technical education courses. So this slide does not do justice of the number of credentials that we offer, but I do want to highlight just a few that you see. So ServSafe is a very popular credential that's offered through our culinary arts program. I want to highlight Adobe and Autodesk. So those are two very powerful credentials that students can earn with us that will result in them earning a lot of money, right? Once they leave us. Also CompTIA, want to highlight NCCR. So that is the National Center for Construction Research. So students that participate in our electrical trades, in our carpentry programs, those are the credentials that they earn. FEMA, want to talk about the NIMS credentials that they earn throughout our public safety courses. ASC, for Automotive Service Excellence in our auto classes. And then want to talk about OSHA 10. So many of our partners and businesses in the area require their employees to have OSHA to show that their employees know how to perform safely in the work environment, right? So we offer that career credential to our students throughout multiple of our career pathways. So right now it's the month of January. So we just closed out the fall semester with our high school students. And we are proud to say that already, just halfway through the year, our high school students have already earned over 1,600 industry recognized credentials. So something worth celebrating. Credentials is some work that we're continuing to push to ensure that our students are getting the skills that they need to pursue careers of their choice. All right, career and technical student organizations. So in addition to career exploration, we're about helping students develop leadership skills as well. And so through our career and technical student organizations, also known as CTSOs, students are able to, one, apply the knowledge that they've learned in their CTE classes, and two, develop practical leadership skills, knowing how to work in teams, knowing how to take initiative to lead out projects. And so right now we offer several different CTSOs throughout the district. At Southern Nash, we have a very popular CTSO of FFA, so Future Farmers of America. Those students are always excelling, doing well, participating in state and national competitions. We have FCCLA, so that's our Family and Career and Community Leaders of America. We also have Skills USA. So those students actually apply what they have learned and they go to regional, state, local, and national competitions to compete against students around the country. We actually have some national winners in our district as well. So CTSOs are a very critical part of what we do in CTE, again, because it combines that career awareness, the knowledge that they have learned, in addition to leadership skills to grow them to be better leaders. All right, and we'll turn over to Mr. Thompson for CCP.
Okay, so another great opportunity that our students have is called CCP. That means the Career and College Promise. And basically what this is a dual enrollment with the Nash Community College, where they're earning college credit as well as they can earn high school credit at the same time. And you'll see with CCP, this is an example of, just as we showed you the pathway earlier about that was just a high school pathway in careers, we've created a pathway that shows what it looks like in high school to the community college and then to the workplace. And so we work very closely with Nash Community College, great partnership in ensuring that our students have opportunities in this area. So with that being said, there are some eligibility requirements for CCP. Probably about 3, 4, 5 years ago, it was only open to 11th and 12th graders. They did expand that. The majority of our students in 11th and 12th take CCP, but there are some stronger requirements if a 9th or 10th grader takes this, which would include, as you can see on the screen, a principal recommendation, a college recommendation, a GPA of 2.0. They must be AIG identified. Also, they have to take a PSA SAT score for 9th and 10th. Now, when you move to 11th and 12th, it opens up to pretty much everybody. Okay, what you do have to have though is still an unweighted GPA of 2.8, and that should be on your official transcript. And then in CTE pathways, because there are two types of CCP classes. There's college transfer side, and then there's a CTE side. So college transfer is pretty much if you're thinking I'm going to go to a 4-year college and I want to continue my route into college, I can go there. CTE, you can still go to college, but you may also want to work some skills in some other areas that are dealing with workforce. You can do the CTE side, and you'll see some of those in just a second. So there's two different sides there with CCP classes. And then as you do this, you still have to maintain eligibility, because if you remember, this isn't just another class. This is actually high school students taking college classes. And so this is a true college class. They get credit for it. It goes onto their college transcript. So in the future, when they continue, if they continue college, it's going to remain on their transcripts. So it's very important. It's very important that they continue with maintaining, even though they received the entry to get into CCP classes. So I did want to point out with CCP, if you go to the Nash Community College site, their webpage, and put in CCP, they actually have this helpful career and college promise page. Very good down the side, which lists some things about, what classes do I need, and what do I need to start, where do I need to start, and those things. The most important piece, if your child is ever interested in a career and college promise class, we would ask that they talk to their counselor, because that's what the counselors are there for, to help advise them on hopefully the best path. Because these classes are here, just as Ms. Wells said, your students have a lot of opportunities that we probably didn't as students. They are able to earn college credits now. They're able to take those college credits with them. They're able to earn credentials at the community college, just like they're earning in high school. And so it's really a win-win. And guess what? On top of that, it's all free. So that's the beauty of this thing while they're in high school, right? CCP classes are free while they're in high school. So you can earn college credit while you're in high school. So it's a win-win, we feel. And once again, we work very closely with the community college on CCP.
All right, so we want to share with you about our work-based learning opportunities. We have about 60 students in paid internships this year. We also have some students that do some internships that are part of their class that are non-paid. So I think overall we had about 160 this last semester. Now, this is really important for these students, because if they excel in an area and we can get them placed, many of them are still there working. So it's a great opportunity for them. Nash County, we've got them in all kinds of industries. Now we do have some challenges. We have some places that, if they're not 18, they don't like to let them in, but we have a lot that do. We have small businesses, we have them at large industries, and Nash County Public Schools puts their money where their mouth is, because we have a work-based learning student in the maintenance department who finished the electrical trades program, and he's working with maintenance. We have a Nash County student in the bus garage who finished the automotive program, and he's working over there. In our early childhood centers, we have 2 students that meet the criteria there, which means they have to have a federal background check and be 18. They're working in our children's centers. So we are really placing our students right within our own industry. This is just an example of a couple of the things that we do. As I've talked about, our Children's Center, Bobby Noel has 3. Edwards Crane at this year right now has 6. It takes some work on the students' part because they are juggling 2 or 3 things to get this job. They, first of all, most typically they're juniors and seniors and they have to do 120 hours minimum work. But the other part of it they have to juggle is if they work for us, they have to fill out all of the paperwork for Nash County Schools, just like any employee does. If they work for Edwards Crane, they have to do all of the requirements for them. If they work for a small company. So it takes a lot of pieces, but we just finished our presentations with them for the end of the semester. And the interesting things they tell you are the things that I don't think they could get from anywhere else when they say, gee, I have really learned how to manage my time. Or my favorite is, I learned that everything I get so upset about is really not so important. So these skills you can't reproduce anywhere else. This is just some of the companies. As I said, we have an advisory board. We work together. We also have students that if they have a job and they come in and they say, Ms. Wells, I've got a job. We do everything we can to work with them to help them get the school credit. They can get as much as 2 school credits, and they can get an honors credit or a standard credit. So we even provide it as an honors part as well. But we are real successful. They do a great job, and I love to hear how they grow and what they've learned when we get to the end.
So I want to finish up tonight with this part of it anyway, just to let you know that we do summer camps in career and technical education. The reason for summer camps are that we feel like it's an excellent time to allow students to really explore and see some things they may not see during the school year. For example, we are in our camps, we take students on field trips to colleges. We take them to a lot of business in the industry in the area. They get specialized tours. They get to do things that they normally wouldn't get to do just to expose them to the possibilities and to see if they like that. So we do last year, and we're actually meeting with our committee tomorrow. So we're right on the cusp of putting this all together for this coming summer. So we actually did 3 camps. We did one that was for our rising 6th graders because we try to do it at transition points. That one was to get our 6th graders rising to start understanding and thinking more about careers and learning more about their middle school while they're coming in. Then we have a bridge camp for our 8th graders to 9th grade that they really start delving into those careers, because what they're doing, they're in the transition of moving from that exploratory to trying to figure out a pathway. And so we take them to healthcare, we take them to advanced manufacturing, to the fire and safety areas. So they get a lot of exposure. Not only that, but they get to do some job shadowing virtually, and then they get to talk to a lot of our guest speakers that come in. And so it ends up being a great camp. And then for our high schoolers, our seniors and our juniors, we do a credentialing camp. So really what we're trying to do is basically give them opportunity. If they didn't get credentialed throughout the year, they'll have an opportunity hopefully to do that. Or it may be a situation where there's an internship or some work-based learning that we can get them involved in. So that's more of the upper level camp that we do. And so those camps this summer, and I'm telling you now because we really want you to get your children involved in it if they can. June 12th through June the 27th will be all of our camps. So that will be all of our CTE camps will run from June 12th to June the 27th. Okay. And so we're excited. And there in the pictures, you can see these are all from our camps. So they visited places like the Cheesecake Factory. They actually visited a college that actually has an operating room setting that's just like the operating room. and they get to learn there. C.W. Williams, any of you ride down 64 and see C.W. Williams over to the right? That's in the far left picture. And so we're giving them as many opportunities as we can in our camps. And so that's not everything about CTE, but we didn't want to go too long without offering you an opportunity to ask questions. Yeah, and the CTSOs we talked a little bit about. Yes, sir.
I'm gonna get a mic so
Yep.
people, because this is being live recorded, so it's whatever you feel comfortable with.
How's everyone doing?
Well,
My name is Ronald Edge. I had a few questions. I'll
Okay.
start with my first one, and then I'll see if anybody else has any others before I ask again.
okay.
Now, I have two students. One is in fourth grade, and there was a challenge last year when I started figuring out what she wanted to do, and she's starting to show that now.
Okay.
So that was, I couldn't find any camps in this area that could do that,
Okay.
which, she's starting to lean toward design, interior design,
Yeah.
graphic design.
Yes.
So my first question is, do you foresee anything like that coming to the area anytime soon? Then second, I have an eighth grader who's been in various camps in technology with UNC. She was an ambassador for Bienvenue. She's also been one of the top students in her grade. We're trying to figure out the difference in between this program and some of the others, and the benefit, which we're leaning toward this one. And that was a concern. I'm just,
Okay.
Second question, third is the credentialing camp caught my attention. As far as how, could you elaborate more on that, on how they're able to do that in the summer? And also indicate what grades, is there a limit to what grades
Okay.
per credential?
Okay.
Or is it open to everyone?
Okay. All right, so I want to start off, and we'll all chime in, but I want to start off with your concern, first of all. So this is not a program where you have to pick and choose. You can do CTE regardless if you're involved with anything. I mean, sometimes it gets challenging with some courses you take, but we want and I think that's kind of been one of those pieces out there we're trying to get rid of the stigma, is because if it can work into your schedule and we can do what we can do, we will work you into CTE classes and pathways. Okay, so because we want this to be, just as we said at the beginning, for all students. And you may have to help me with some of your questions, because I'll start with the last one, your credentialing camp. So what we do with credentialing camp is that we have, so our teachers actually help credential the students when they're in the regular semester. So what we do is offer our teachers time to come back and give those credentialing tests and any type of support the student needs to prepare for it. So last year it was set around if you had already taken a pathway and in a course. This year we may look at how we can expand and give. There's certain credentials we could give that's easier to give than others. Like if you went through a CompTIA, like Mr. Jefferson's talking about, that's going to be almost difficult if you haven't gone through all the courses.
And I'm actually CompTIA certified.
Okay, so you know
for
how
about
difficult
12
it
years.
is.
Yes, sir. Yeah, absolutely.
So you know how
We have to
difficult it
leave
is.
high school with that.
Yeah. But there again, it's a great credential to have, right? And so that would be just an example of a tough one. But there may be something like first aid and CPR. We could get someone credentialed in, which may be one. ServSafe may be one, possibly. So there's some different ones we could do. And then take me back to your first question.
First question was, do you foresee any camps opening up for younger children? I have a fourth grader right now.
Right.
And the challenge was, now that she's starting to show interest in a certain direction, I've kind of been able to guide my eighth grader to the point, with opportunities opening up.
Exactly.
And wanted to continue that, but wanted to start with my fourth grader that's going to fifth grade. Do you foresee anything that may be able to facilitate that during the summer?
I will say it, and then I'm going to open it up to them, let them speak as well. So we have just brought on board a middle school career development coordinator, which we haven't had in the past. That middle school career development coordinator is tasked to also work with our elementary schools. And so what we're going to do is, what we're in the process of doing, we have already created leads at each one of our elementary schools as CTE leads, so that we can work all the way down as far as we can to kindergarten, honestly. There's certain things with funding that we can do at the 5th grade level and on, but then we will do things career related throughout elementary. We feel like it's important to get it started as young as we can, because it's not about you knowing exactly what I want to do, but it's about you being exposed so that you can make good choices, right? That's, in the end, that's what we want. Because I think Ms. Wells said it better than anyone, that it's just as important to know what you don't like as to know what you do like. Okay, you all want to add? I don't want to take up the
And
whole
I'll
time.
just add to that too, that the camps that we have in the summer, like the 8th graders going to the 9th grade, well, they're going to the school that they're going to attend. So they're actually getting on that campus, learning where everything is, seeing teachers. So it really gives them some added confidence that when they start high school, it's not so overwhelming. And it's the same way with the middle schools. They're in their buildings. We work really hard to make sure they're on their campuses. So now they know where the cafeteria is. They know where the office is. It just gives them that little bit of boost that helps them out.
No, Maddie.
I have a child that's going into middle school, and so am I understanding, would I need to sign them up to do the exploring program in middle school?
No, you will not need that. That is a course. That's actually a course in middle school, is one of their electives.
Mhm.
But you would have to sign up in the registration part of it.
Okay.
Yeah, but it is not like you can't get in if you sign up for it, right? So that's what you need to do in your registration part.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that would just be an additional class or an elective class is what you're
Yeah,
saying?
it's one of their electives. They get 2 a semester.
Two
Okay.
45-minute electives.
My next question is, if they were to move on from that into high school and they wanted to do was it the CCP, the College Career Promise? What makes that different than like if we decided to send them to the early college high school?
So the early college is a school in itself, and
Right.
they're running parallel with college classes and regular high school classes the whole time.
Right.
The early college is about 4-year college, and that's directly, right? And they may earn, do a few CTE things here and there, but then on this part with the CCP, you can stay in a traditional school. You can continue with, if you wanted to do the traditional things like sports and things like that. Then you also get to take those high school classes and a college class, and they get credit for both. So in the early college, you're still getting credit for both, which is a great program, but it's just according to what you want to do and what are the aspirations for your child, right? Or your child's aspirations.
And many of the community college classes that our students enroll in, they can get a certificate, a pathway certificate in that before they even get out of high school. And that's a really big, important thing, because the more things they can put in their box, the more opportunities they're going to have. So like there are some programs where they actually take 4 classes and they have a certificate that says they've completed this pathway.
When would registration open? That's the answer to go back
Yeah.
on that. If her child's going from 5th to 6th.
Yeah, so middle school is going to be in March. Okay, high school's going to open up probably the 1st of February. So just be prepared when they start talking about it, right? That's going to be very important. And I can tell you in the high school registration forms at the bottom will be all the CTE pathways. We have it listed. It's not just by courses. We have it so it's pathways. So
Just
you
like that
understand,
document
just like the
is.
document.
And so they should expect to see that coming from their principal
That will come
Okay.
from their high
The
school.
high school,
Yep.
okay. And then from elementary school to middle school, they should expect to receive that in March from,
So that will come from the middle schools, and they may utilize the elementary counselors to distribute them to the fifth graders, and you all will see them at home and walk over it with your children.
And
So
they typically do a visit too. They will
Yep.
take them over to the middle school
Yep.
to kind of start that process. So you'll know your fifth graders are going on to the middle school.
Hi. I have a 11th grader at Nash Central, and he's in the welding program at the college.
Okay.
Is he eligible also for like the work-based learning?
He is. How old is he?
He will be 17 in March.
I tell you what, I will be recruiting over there typically in February.
Okay.
So when he goes to see his counselor, he needs to tell him he's interested in working,
Okay.
and then we'll see what we can do to help him out.
Okay. It's tough to find a job for high school kids right now.
Well, and it's also, we have some challenges. We have some places that won't take them at they're 18, and we're doing everything we can to improve the high school students' image because, high school students really get a bum rap. I hate to say it that way, but there are some great things about high school students. We just have to look sometimes to find it.
So my middle is in 6th grade, and he's in the exploring careers electives now. So he needs to continue with that for the next 2 years if he wants to stay in that, or is there something he needs to sign up for?
So they do have multiple options for electives, and I want to make sure that it's understood that each middle school lab has between 12 and 15 different modules. So typically in a grade level, they'll have an opportunity to explore between 3 and 4. And so when they go to their next grade, 7th grade, they'll get to explore an additional 3 or 4. In
Okay.
8th grade, they'll explore an additional set as well. So to have the full exploration experience with all the career clusters, it is advised that they participate in the Exploring Careers electives each year throughout their middle school experience.
Okay, and one last question. My youngest is at Cooper's, and we've gone through some principal changes the last couple years, just recently now. So I don't know if this is principal related, but it seems like a lot of the stuff you were talking about in the last couple years was geared more to the AIG kids than it was the whole school. And maybe a teacher or someone who actually works there could chime in and tell me that from the outside I'm wrong, but it does seem like the AIG kids are getting more exposure than the other kids.
And are you're talking about the elementary
Yeah.
school? Yeah. So, and if you remember back, me talking about the career development coordinator we just hired, that is for the sole purpose of making sure that elementary is, and giving that opportunity for career opportunities and all of those things. And STEM, honestly, you mentioned STEM, that is career and technical education. So yes, we're there, and we will do whatever we can to help.
Okay, yeah, we had a great program at the end of last semester that was wonderful, but
Good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
oh, yeah.
Yes, good evening. This is Monica. I have a question. I have a student that's going to go to high school in August, and the school has given out so many programs or whatnot available to the students. You haven't talked about CITI High. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. What are the benefits of that, and is it similar to CCP and early college ECHS, and the CTE and CCP?
So, and I know the acronyms get crazy, right? We're in education. We love acronyms. So CITI, Center for Industry, Technology, and Innovation, is actually is similar to the early college, except it has a CTE kind of like focus, where students are working, where the early college is working for a 4-year, they're working for an associate's degree at the end for a 4-year college experience. CITI is working towards a kind of like a CTE, a job related experience. and can also get an associate's degree at the same time. They're both called Innovative High Schools. And so they both run a similar track, except one's more focused on a four-year college, one's focused on a work. For example, City has automotive. And so what they will be doing in automotive, they will take their high school classes just like early college, and they will also take those college classes that are related to automotive all the way through to, hopefully in the end, they can do an internship, or they can also gain an associate's degree once they graduate from high school. Now, both of those schools, you got to understand, have what's called super seniors. So that means they go 5 years instead of 4 years, but they do earn the goal is to earn that associate's degree when you're finished.
And that's for City High and CHS too,
That's City High, and that's the early college.
that can get a degree, associate's degree.
Well, no, because those two definitely can get associate's degree, but you can also, if you're in a traditional school working CCP classes, you're still on a track to go and be very close to an associate's degree when you finish, or maybe earn it. It's just according to how many credits you could take in high school. So that could happen in all three places. But it's definitely the track for city and early college.
We have some students that are juniors and seniors that once they start at the community college, they may never come on the high school campus. They may be taking almost everything over there. So, they can get it that way too.
And I do want to also add, in the traditional high school setting, when students take our state sponsored CTE courses, we have actually several courses that are a part of the statewide articulation agreement that, if they just take the regular CTE courses, can also translate to college credit if they desire to pursue post-secondary education at a community college level as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Oh.
Hey, couple questions. For the CCP programs, they're all college transfer. So for the most part, it follows all the community college, where it will transfer to major universities, including majority of private schools. Am I correct in that statement?
It definitely has a great possibility. It just, you would have to check with the advisors to ensure that it, and that's the articulation from the community colleges to a 4-year college. Mm-hmm. You would have to just make sure that those courses would transfer. Okay. Yes.
And under that CCP program, if for some reason, is summer school an option to take college classes to try to ensure that associate's degree could be earned by the time they're a senior?
So there are some opportunities to take during summer. It's a little more difficult during the summer. So that would have to be on an individual basis with the school, and if the opportunity is there during the summer. Definitely during the year though. Okay. Because the summer, the community colleges, they actually don't run the same courses in the summer, so that it becomes very difficult.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Basically asked the same thing I asked, but yeah, because that really kind of hit a red flag when you just said that the credits were transferable to just community college level, but it can be transferred possibly to higher education, like 4-year college and university.
And just to clarify, so the point I had made was for students taking our regular CTE classes, so not CTE CCP classes, correct? So those transfer to community college, the regular CTE classes that are part of the statewide articulation agreement. So it's a different set than the CTE CCP pathway and college transfer pathway that Mr. Thompson spoke of.
And we know it gets confusing sometimes because there's a lot to this, but what Mr. Jeffers just alluded to once again is, let's say for instance up there you saw, and this isn't necessarily it's on the articulation agreement, but you saw early childhood 2. Well, that early childhood 2 high school class may meet the standard of the one in the college, and you get the college credit for it. So it works the other way instead of you going to college and working back the other way.
It's the EDU 119 class they would not have to take when they get to the community college, because our early childhood 2 has met that requirement.
That's right.
And Mr. Thompson, just to clarify, most of the courses that you take through CCP, not all of them will also transfer to a four-year university. And I think that's what you asked. So it's just not limited
No.
to community colleges. Most of them will transfer to four-year university.
Good afternoon. My question is, if a student is assigned to a particular high school based on where they live, but the program is not offered at that particular school, do they have the opportunity to transfer without any barriers?
So they have an opportunity to put in an application for transfer. And so then that transfer application will have to get approved. And I can tell you CTE classes are part of that transfer process. So for instance, we just mentioned agriculture, right, down at Southern Nash. If your child is gung-ho and I want to go to ag and this is truly a career path, then you would fill out the application for transfer and then it would go through a process to be approved.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes. That's a good point. With that, the caveat, right, is the transportation at that point, if you're interested in that.
And speaking of transfers, beginning tomorrow, this weekend, information will be going out about this early next week. The transfer process, there's some new online forms that will be listed on the new enrollment page of our website. So that's going to be digital, but an email will be going out early next week too. So just be on the lookout from the PR department, which is me, or Heather Louise Finch. So anyways, is there any more questions? Okay, we got a lot. Is that okay? Are y'all
Sure.
good? I'm going to go to him first.
Do y'all still offer advanced placement courses on top of this? Where I know back in the day when I was in school, we took AP courses. You take the AP test and you could get college credit if you passed it.
Yes.
Is that still something that's out there as well on top of CTE?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And not only that, but CTE has an AP course.
Okay.
It's called AP Computer Science.
Okay.
Yeah.
And many of our classes are honors, so students will get the honors credit. We offer many of our classes are honors.
So I want to check because they changed a couple years ago, right? Okay. So honors is 0.5 and then APs are 1 credit, a valued point now.
Well, as far as like I know like your GPA in high school, if you just took regular class and you got an A, you got a 4.0.
Right.
With honors classes, it was a 5.0.
Right.
You got an A,
and that's what's changed. Yeah, it's.
That's right.
4.5 and then 5.
That's correct.
That's right.
So instead of 1 and 2, I mean 1 and another, it's 0.5 and a full point. Yep.
Are students able to participate in work-based learning as well as the, for example, the CCP program, or the isolated?
We have many kids that their senior year, they take 2 courses at the community college and they work and they never even go on campus. So yes, we do everything in our power to work out everything we can work for them.
Thank you.
Last question.
As far as a student being interested in going into the military, what would be your pathway there?
So I think it will be according to what they want to do, because in the military, as you know, there's a lot of jobs. And so, of course, you're going to be a soldier, I'm sure. But then on top of that, you usually have a job in the military. So what do you feel like, and this is what we would say to a student, what do you feel like you would want to do in the military that we could help you with? So for instance, are you going to want to do something mechanical? We'll put you in our automotive program. Are you going to want to do something with technology or science and engineering and math? Then we'll put you in our STEM programs. And then what that would do is just kind of align them and give them some skills in those areas so it's familiar as they go into the military.
And Ms. Finch, if I could make one more comment. And I always try to tell parents, there is one position in every traditional high school that we have that you guys should be aware of, and that is called the Career Development Coordinator. And so I implore you to become aware of who your career development coordinator is, so that you know and your students are aware of who they can go to if they have questions about the career development continuum, what it is they want to do, what opportunities are available. They are an extension of our team, and they're very valuable liaisons who can share information unique to the different pathways that each school offers, in addition to opportunities related to career exploration throughout the district. So Career Development Coordinator, okay, is the name of their role, and they are very valuable assets to this entire process of career exploration and career awareness.
I wanted to piggyback off of her question because most people might think just going straight into the military right after school, or as a lot of people do, Nash Central High School and Rocky Mount High School have very strong state winning ROTC programs. And they run a very tight ship. It's huge. And so a lot of the students who graduate from those ROTC programs wind up going into a university. Majority of them would go to university and join the ROTC program at that university and be involved. And when they're graduating, I believe, what is it? A captain? Is that right, from college? I might be saying this wrong. Officer, excuse me. My brother did that. That's why, anyway, so there are opportunities that way, and there's lots of scholarships in that route as well. So Navy's at Nash Central High School, and then I believe, is it Air Force? At Rocky Mount. And if you have my contact, the PR department, so if you want to learn more, I can put you in front of with those folks.
Mr. Jeffers, do you mind giving the names of the career development coordinators so they will know as well?
Absolutely.
That's important.
So if your student is attending Northern Nash High School, so that career development coordinator is Susan Wallet. If they attend Nash Central High School, the career development coordinator's name is Dr. Tabitha McDowell. If they attend Rocky Mount High School, the career development coordinator's name is Shaquandra Richardson. Southern Nash High School is going to be Miss Brandy Frazier. And our middle school career development coordinator is Donna Katie. And another, FYI, you may hear it referred to as CDC, and it stands for Career Development Coordinator. But those are the names of each of the career development coordinators that we have throughout our district.
Thank you all for coming out tonight. Please email me if you have any questions. And if y'all haven't signed that contact form sheet, it's in the back. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
What's that? Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. It was nice.